Good afternoon. Well, I guess it's not technically afternoon. It is 10 till noon. June 25th, Saturday. It is scorching outside. I have the door shut. And if anybody's wondering, this stuff I got on Amazon. It's like a little foil styrofoam insulation. That stuff actually works really well because the sun, this is facing south. The door is facing south, so the sun is over there, but it's beating down on this door. And before I put this up in the afternoons, if I came home, in the summer, say it's 95 degrees outside, it would be 100 or, maybe 102, 103 in the garage. I've got a thermometer up there next to the clock. So it'd be really it'd be warmer in here than it was outside from the heat gain, the heat pounding through that garage door. Now I've put up this foil foam insulation, which is pretty easy. It just comes with strips of double-sided tape. Clean up the rails on the garage door. They're already cut to width to fit between each panel. I trimmed out around the hinges, which this is where I started. Let's see how I cut this out all around. Then I realized after I did this row that there was an easier and better way. And let's see, this is it. Just basically notch it, and I could get this back down. There's a nut under here, or a bolt under here, I'm sorry, for the hinge. So it doesn't really stick down, but it covers that. And had to slit this one down the middle. I forgot exactly why it slit down the middle. That's the sensor for my Vivint garage door opener from the app. But yeah, that works really well. So I think it's about 90 outside right now. And where are we? I'm trying to look at this backwards. It's like 80, 82 in here. So a little bit cooler. So today, kind of move the pile of junk out of the way to get in here and do some work on He Hate Me. This tall fella right here is from Quick Performance. It's a set of axles. I went on eBay and ordered a 48-inch wide 9-inch housing. Somewhere over here I've got leaf spring perches. I need to get U-bolts. I just contacted Quick Performance this morning, sent them an email, see when I'll get the housing, hopefully within the next week or so. Then I can get in here with the engine in the way. I could move it out of the way and can get in here and start making the leaf spring mounts. In another video, I talked about how I'm doing it. I've got a little halo that I've fabricated that goes back here. Goes from the down tube of the roll cage back down here. And then it'll have a tube sticking down with a plate that mounts the leaf spring sliders. And then those will have spacers to match the front leaf spring hanger. So it actually is an adjustable suspension. And yeah, so that's it. So I'm going to turn on some fans because even though it's cooler in here than it's outside, it's still pretty warm. Once I get to moving around, I'll sweat out 10 pounds just moving around, crawling my fat ass in and out of the car, moving all of that stuff out of my way. I went ahead this morning and ordered some, well, they're not the Flowtech, they're Jegs, but they look exactly like the Flowtech headers. And then going to put the 4.8 in and see how the headers, if they fit either up and forward or down and forward. Still having thoughts about the front end, what to do with it. Maybe cut the shock towers completely out and just have a top strap mount And instead of having a bolt-on piece for the roll cage, just come off and with my tubing bender bend a piece of tubing. But that's something for another day. Matter of fact, I don't know what I'm going to do today. It's just so hot, it's hard to get motivated. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to do. I'm going to move some stuff out of the way. Changed the oil in my car the other day, so I left the oil pan here. I need to pour that into my bucket, clean that up, get it out of the way. So probably just garage cleanup today. So that's today's update. Stay tuned. We'll have more videos soon.
All right, so what we have here is the CalTrack bracket. Split monoleaf Calvert spring is resting on that C-clamp back there at approximately the correct ride height. And I'm waiting on the housing to come on, but as you can see, these are pretty far apart. I made a solid spacer to go through the leaf spring bushing, then I made two bigger spacers that center everything, keep the CalTrack bracket centered, keep the leaf spring centered, but when it's tightened, the inside's just a little bit longer so that the CalTrack's going to pivot freely. I need a longer bolt. The bolt doesn't protrude through the nut. It has to at least protrude through the nut. And I'll probably get a nylock so I don't have to over tighten this and twist it in. But the plan, what I'm doing right now, as you can see, I've got two sets of holes. I'm pretty certain right now the back set of holes is going to work perfect. Get the tires off of that kick down on the wheel opening without having to modify it, because I think that's what is kind of cool looking about a 62 Falcon, even though I bitch about late model GM trucks having square wheel well openings, and that is kind of a square wheel well opening and tires last time I checked around, unless you're Fred Flintstone. So this pivots, obviously at the hit it pivots down. This pin locks into the front of the split mono, pretty much making it a straight bar, making it almost like a ladder bar. The rod end will be back here. So what I'm looking at is nothing protrudes past here, no matter how this thing's going to pivot, and it can't go up any higher. So I'm probably going to get a piece of 3/16. This is 1/8 inch, but I've got doubler plates to weld on over the bolt holes. So I'll weld the doubler plates on over the bolt holes. That'll keep them from wallowing out or ripping at the hit. And then to keep this thing from twisting and shearing off up here is get a piece of 3/16, get it cut. I may call AA manufacturing or AA manufacturing, or got these cut and made at. They were pretty easy to deal with. They do a lot of dirt car fabricated parts, but also will do custom parts. So big shout out to those guys. We kind of went back and forth with my crappy MS Paint and half-ass attempts in SketchUp to tell them what I want. This is pretty much kind of an off-the-shelf part that they have. This front leaf spring bracket for a 2x3 square tube, and I just had to modify it with my dimensions. So the reason it's so wide is you can see down there, there's the bolt sticking out with the nut. It's pretty thick. You can cut some of the bolt off. It's really close. So I'll probably at least cut some of the bolt off, maybe get some thin lock nut to put on that. The head of the bolt's pretty thick. It's about 3/8 or 7/16 thick. There's not really much I can do about that. I've seen some other people online have gotten like a flat head or a pan head bolt and then drilled and tapped it, put another smaller pan head bolt in from this end, or like a button head. But I mean, this is, it's 4 5/8 across. What's the inside to inside? Inside is 4 7/16. So from here to here, inside is about 5/8. So I mean, I've got 5/8 these spacers. I made a big spacer that goes inside the leaf spring bushing. Then these bigger spacers that go on outside of those keep the CalTrack bracket and the leaf spring centered. I was kind of thinking this is a really wide gap. leaf spring can put a lot of leverage on it, but I mean, if I put a button head bolt on each side or a button head bolt on that side, I mean, I'm going to take off 1/4 of an inch. So I don't know what 1/4 of an inch on each side would really gain. If it's that big of a deal, I probably need to have them remake these brackets in like 3/16 or 1/4 plate just to be super beefy. But like I said, I've got doubler plates to cover the bolt holes. So my plan is to get a piece of 3/16 and start it somewhere in here, come down, break it, weld it to the cross member, weld it here inside and out, and then, as you can see, let's get a better camera. This is the main hoop. Come off the main hoop with the kicker bar, land it on here on the top or in the front or at the corner to really solidify this. Come in here from the rocker panel, brace the frame rail. What I may do is land the kicker bars on top of the frame rail junction right here, and then with the kicker bars come across, bend a tube that comes across the top of these between the two kicker bars, and then put a bar down, because this is going to come straight up. So if I made kind of a halo across, a halo bar across, then I could run a bar straight down on top of this top plate and really pick up that point load. Because like I said, when the little 4.8 all 600 horsepower, or if I get crazy one day and really crank it up 850 horsepower, they're going to try to rip this straight up. The rear end's trying to rotate up. It's going to be pushing this up, so need all the strength I can get pushing it down, holding it down. So more I've thought about it this morning, I'm thinking, guess I can't, okay, it won't zoom out any further. So kicker bar maybe down to the frame rail junction, and then halo bar across. I'll bend it up with my bender across to the other one, and then a tube going down into the top of the box that I'm making. Should really strengthen it up. The other thought was, I've got a seat and harness brace here. This kicker bar comes down, and then the harness brace comes off, and there's bars off of the harness brace that come down. But that'll be something once I get the housing in. Make the rear halo, which you should have already seen by now, comes off the back of the down tubes, goes down towards the trunk, makes a U, comes back to the other side, and we'll have tubes going straight down with a plate picking up the slider for the leaf spring. I'm kind of sitting in here and I don't feel like getting out. I don't know if you can see it, but the slider's just sitting back there in the corner hiding out. It's like a Blair Witch Project. There's something hiding out in the corner. It's the slider. Oh no, I've messed up my light. Okay. So I think today is a day of not sweating my ass off. I'm trying to figure this out and measure this, and either take it to work and get a piece of 3/16, cut it here, and then take it to work, put on the press brake, put that bend in it, or just call AA Manufacturing and see if they can make me a couple pieces that I need. They were pretty reasonable on these plates. These are pretty much just an off-the-shelf plate that they make for roundy round cars, for 2x3 tubing front leaf spring mount that I had to modify. It's wider this way, and then of course I had to put 2 sets of holes in, and the back set of holes is the one I'm going to use. Pretty sure that it has fixed my wheelbase where the tire is not up into the front of the quarter panel. So that's that. See what else I come up with today, but that's what I'm working on.